Thank you, Yasi and Ramsey. Now we have Politoscape with Politoscape.
Hi everybody, good evening. My name is George Ko. I'm one of the co-founders of Politoscape. And here with me today is my partner, Politoscape. Thanks for having us, and glad to be here. So we just want to give you a quick overview of Politoscape. So this is our team right here. Only two of us can be here today. And we are currently based at the Harvard Innovation Lab. And the Politoscape project came out of a Harvard School of Engineering and Applied Sciences course called ES21, the Innovators Practice. And over the past academic year, we received the Harvard Institute of Politics Gov 2.0 Fund Award, which is an award, a fund given to a startup that has to do something in the area of politics. So in our ES21 class, we found a problem with the internet in which people are filtered into these echo chambers, these filter bubbles. And it makes the internet a more polarized space. And one of the most polarized spaces on the internet is politics. And so what we wanted to look at was ways in which we can help people burst the bubble and help to be exposed to different views and topics on the internet. So with that in mind, our solution was Politoscape. So what is Politoscape? Politoscape is a news aggregator that can sort articles based on where they're located on the political landscape. So how left or how right an article is, to expose the bias of an article and to assess the credibility of those articles. And in this way, we are helping people to expose to different political views and understand their own political bias. So in our class, we created version 1.0. As you can see here, we have a grid of bars that show how left or how right the articles are. You click on a bar, and we aggregate the political newsfeed coming out. And we sort the articles with a syntax algorithm from our backend. And then we took this concept and we pushed it further out of the class and created with 2.0, making it more user-friendly, also adding widgets to provide more political content for users, and also categorization for articles related to politics for users. But we took that concept and then we flipped the grid upside down. We thought that the original design would have been a cool way of showing the depth of how many articles are within the spectrum, but a lot of people requested just a regular grid design. And another thing we wanted to implement was to create a Politoscape community. We want to give people tools in which they can interact with other people to engage in politics. So we have a debate, act, and stats category as well. Then we took that concept and made a grid design to make a more user-friendly experience. And we also changed the slider, the landscape slider, so that you can easily go from left to right and look at different articles. And now this version, 5.0, is going to be the one that we're going to launch with our beta site, which will be released in about 2 weeks. And we'll be giving a quick demo of our alpha site that's based on this design as well. So in terms of the future of Politoscape, it's a 2-part plan in terms of our business model with credibility. What we hope to do is, with a full launch, is to create a widget API in which news companies can use our API to determine the metric in which what the bias of each article that they have, and also the credibility of each article that they have, is actually in reality. So, say for example, on our site we say the New York Times has a specific political leaning and credibility rating. The New York Times wants to challenge that, they can sign up for an API program and have the widget locally on their site to show your readers the true bias and true credibility. So right now, my partner Polk's going to give you guys a quick demo of our alpha site.
Cool. So at the moment, this is their current alpha site. When an individual logs into the website, they can log in either via Facebook or through a Politoscape backend to this. You can then click on one of these articles, and here you can read a brief synopsis of it. Then you can actually go onto the article. It opens up, and you can read the actual article on the CNN website. Now, what differentiates us from other companies and other websites is that we have this political spectrum down here. So if I scroll to the right, I can get articles that are more right-leaning, or I can go more left-leaning articles. So for instance, if I were to go here to a right-wing article, I can click on any of these, read the article, comment on it, people can log in, get more information from each other about this, discuss what the article is, discuss their own comments on it. What we are currently implementing right now for the beta release will be this stats and act icon. As an act icon, you can actually communicate with your local representatives, such as your congressmen or your congresswomen. Talk to them about what you think needs to happen in the community. In the stats icon, we are currently trying to get this set up so that it is corresponding with the election, and we can see what states where people are actively voting. At the same time, we just want to put this out there that if you guys want to be part of the beta launch, to go to Politoscape.com.
All right, thank you very much, and we will take more questions. Yes.
I'd much rather have people decide how biased or credible an article is. That's just my bias. And how is technology better than human judgment in the case of your product?
Right, so that's actually a problem we're dealing with right now with our backend algorithm. So we're actually doing the bias sorting in now two-fold pattern for the full site. We have one which is run by the algorithm, and the second one is run by a group of professors in politics. We're right now starting at the Harvard Kennedy School and expanding. And this is a group of professors that have agreed to pull in their time and also their professionalism to help us assess bias.
Eventually, we also want to add a crowdsourcing feature, which will allow individuals, when they add their comments onto this website, onto an article, to put their own political spectrum leanings on it and see, hey, this article you guys rated it as maybe more right-wing, we feel it's more left-wing, with the reasons why in order to get a more active community engaged.
Yes.
So how do you counteract the games and shit that sometimes goes on in this sort of the crowdsourcing element? I mean, oftentimes there's a tendency in something like a website where, hey, it's the same guy commenting 20 times the same way. There's almost a sort of like, a bit of a gamesmanship that goes on. And also in terms of the credibility, so where do you itemize, are you separating the bias from the credibility? Because sometimes a prosecutor can be biased, that doesn't mean he's not credible. I mean, how do you separate that, or is it all one algorithm? It's two separate.
Right, it's two separate algorithms. The bias algorithm has its own syntax algorithm. The credibility algorithm has its own syntax algorithm as well. And they both pull into different databases. In terms of people taking advantage of that crowdsourcing ability, so we will have these security measures put up where if we notice that one user is posting more than 3 times on one site with a similar push for a specific rating, or which political leaning, we'll flag that and make sure to look into that specific case.
Yes. So most people tend to seek out information online that resonates with what they already believe. Are you trying to encourage people to expand their horizons a bit, and if so, how?
Yeah, so we're actually, with Politoscape, we just want to help expose your personal bias first. So if you're a specifically left-leaning person, you read left-leaning articles, and that's great. We're not asking you to be a right-leaning person. But as you can see with part of the demo, you can see a look at the other side. We just have a numerical value that shows you articles that are related on the same topic, but of a different political view. Just to give people a better, broader idea, but we're not asking people to change what they already know. Yes.
I was working with some SEO technologies, and how do you make sure somebody doesn't game the system? Let's say certain keywords, certain syntaxes for sentences, all that. How do you make sure they just would not game it to make sure that it's perfectly going to come up as unbiased or in the direction that they would want it? I mean, technically you could even hide words in the background. That wouldn't even show you would still scan them. So there's, the actual algorithms, how do you go about deciding whether it's biased and whether somebody's not gaming it?
Right, so we actually, in terms of how our backend algorithm works in terms of syntax, I can't disclose that right now, just because a lot of algorithms have that problem. We actually looked at an API that had that problem, and so we decided to build our own in-house one. But just a simple explanation, it's a multi-level tiered system. So just because you have keywords will not make the cut for giving you the bias rating. There's other factors involved. And that's it. Thank you so much for having us.